All right, all you troop builders out there, we've got some good pieces from you. These are all vintage, all straight out of the 80s and 90s, early 90s. These are some G.I. Joes. Now, these all have some slight defects. That being, these are all ones with minor elbow cracks. We hate to see it, but of all the things that could go wrong with a G.I. Joe, the nice thing about an elbow crack is it's one of the things that is least noticeable, least visible. So I'm going to jump right into it here. This first one is from 1990. This is our Night Creeper. First thing we're going to do, flop test. So he's a little bit floppy in the waist, but the knees are nice and tight. Shoulders are good, and he's got both thumbs, both feet. Crotch is good. Let's check out his paint. So just like the Crimson Guard Immortal, these plates tend to get a lot of rub wear, but I'm not seeing any of that. Same up here, same on his head. All around, that's actually a pretty good paint job. I'm not seeing a ton of wear anywhere, including just a little bit at the feet. You can see some right there on the feet. Some of that's some studio lighting, but a little bit of that is some wear right there. So looking pretty good. Now, the unfortunate thing about this particular gentleman is he's got some elbow cracks. See a slight elbow crack right there, and a little bit more of one right here. I'm afraid to bend his elbow. I don't want to push it. They're not actually that bad. They're not even through cracks, but you can see the stressing on it. This one looks like it's just starting right there. That one looks like it's just starting at the corner. So they're really more elbow stress, but you can see the crazing in the plastic, the whiteness of that. It's just starting to come through, so these will turn into full-fledged elbow cracks shortly, I believe. But if you're careful and you just choose this as a display piece, well, then I don't think you'll have that. The rest of it, you'll have some good stuff right there, a little bit of wear right on the boots, but otherwise looking pretty good. Usually you see it right around the helmet where those high points are, the upraised portion, but I'm not seeing it here. So all around a pretty nice piece. This is from 1990 for Night Creeper. Next up we have for you, this is from 1993. This is a Heat Viper, what is this, version 2, I believe? Version 2, maybe 3, I think it's version 2 of the Night Creeper. So all around looking pretty good. Let's give him that flop test. Oh, nice and stiff. I don't even want to push these knees. Yeah, waist is looking good. In fact, a little too good. It's pretty tight. I wonder if this has had a replacement O-ring just because it's so tight, or maybe it's just because it was later in the line and not quite as well loved as some of the other figures. Maybe it didn't get special attention. Maybe it never got played with. Who knows? Either way, looking very good. Both thumbs are intact. This one you have to worry about these, not only the knees, but sometimes these crack off, and that's obviously not the case right there. The feet are looking good and no wear on those boots, and of course the crotch is all intact and in one piece. Let's look at that paint job. All around very nice. Now he's, this was not a very detail-oriented figure in the first place. It's just the green and the black, but they all held up very, very well. A lot of times these grenades will wear. I don't see that. A lot of times these knee pads will wear. I don't see that. And of course on his helmet you get a lot, just because there's so many upraised points. They tend to rub against other toys in the toy box. They tend to go out into the playground and get buried in the sand, and you get a lot of wear there, but I'm not seeing any of that. So all around a pretty good piece. Now, what is the exception to that? The exception is, if you look very, very closely, you can see it's starting to crack. Not completely cracked through yet, but it's just starting to craze right there at the elbows on both sides. And that's unfortunate. So I'm not going to force those elbows. You can do what you like with that. Sometimes some liniment oil helps that. We'll flip it on over, and you can see it's not through crack on the other side, but it's just in that beginning stages. So we'll advertise this as with elbow cracks, just in case, just for the very picky, discerning collector. Now overall it just displays beautifully. It displays just like that. You didn't know, you'd never notice. And let's zoom back out again. You can see no real paint wear on the back of this either. So all around a pretty nice piece. Again, if you're going to display it, it displays just like that. You probably wouldn't even notice those elbow cracks unless you really got in there close. But still, we want you to be fully aware. So there it is from 1993. Hard to imagine. This is the Heat Viper. And up on the block next, we've got for you from 1989. This is a Night Viper. This is one of the more complex ones. It amazes me that any of these lasted all these years to begin with, just because it had so many of these little pegs, the visors, everything else. So we'll give it a flop test. Yeah, looking very nice. No issues with any of that. No knee issues, no waist issues. He's got both thumbs completely intact, both feet completely intact. The crotch is looking good, no cracks there. In terms of paint wear, absolutely fantastic. The sigil, the insignia right there, and his Cobra logo are looking good. Even the gold highlights on that belt looking really good. Now, as for the elbows, we like to show you those. Seeing a little bit of stressing on this one, maybe the beginnings of a crack, but over here, oh boy, that's a rough one. I don't want to bend his elbow too much because I'm afraid too much stress might not be good for him. So he's got that crack in the elbow right there. Elbow cracks being a pretty common thing amongst G.I. Joes. Sooner or later, they all get it. Sooner or later, we all get it. Feeling that age right now. Elbows crack. The knees. So all around, I'm not seeing anything on the back side, but damage is already done on the front, so if that's something that concerns you, be aware of it. As for the paint, looking pretty good. Real nice up there. So all around, I'd say this one is absolutely perfect for display. He would display so nice. Does not come with any weapons, accessories, etc. Like a lot of them in this collection that just came in from this particular consignor did not come with accessories, but he's a great one that if you've got the accessories or you just want to mess around and find a couple to re-outfit him, I think he's a great base for display. If you want to play with him, this one might not be the one if you tend on bending that elbow a lot, because they get worse. So all around, these are three great pieces right here. All good troop builders. If you are a troop builder and you don't mind an elbow crack or two because you like to display them, then head on over to TheBigToyAuction.com. You can see this and all the other items we've got available for you in our upcoming auction. Leave your pre-bids right now, or you can join us live as we auction each of these, do choice on these, and make them available to you. Don't let everybody else get them. We've told you how to get them, and knowing is half the battle.